Welcome everybody to this month's webinar where you can see the topic here, exciting updates to School Assist. When I say that, we've got some really, really cool things in store for you today. I mentioned it in a LinkedIn post that I had put out earlier today, but a pretty large announcement for us and something that I'm really, really proud of as our team here at WrenchWay. So before we get things kicked off, I am going to run through some housekeeping items. Per usual, if you've sat in on any of our events in the past, you can chat down in the chat section if you look at the bottom of your screen. And something we like to do each time is to have you state your name and where you're joining us from. It's always cool to see where everybody's kind of calling in from. And that section is really, really good to just have general conversation, right? If you have a best practice, if you have a comment on something, that's a great spot to share that. If you do have a question, if you could please use the Q&A section. The Q&A makes it really easy for us as panelists to be able to see your question and try to get to it as fast as we possibly can. If you put it in the comment section, sometimes it can kind of get buried and we might actually miss it if it's there. So hopefully, if you can, just use the Q&A for your questions. And then as a reminder, this session is being recorded and will be emailed out to everybody after the event. So if you feel like you missed something or you had to step away for a second, you can go back and listen to that recording. All right. Now, if we go to the next slide, I think we've got, we're going to, I think, hit everybody right between the eyes right off the bat here. We've got a major announcement with a partnership with ASE. And we'll walk through everything here today. But joining me to talk about it are Mark Wilson, my co-founder here at WrenchWay, and the great Dave Johnson from ASE. Mark, I'll let you kind of kick things off and maybe share a little bit about this really, really exciting announcement.
Yeah, well, thanks for everyone for being here. And first, sorry about the date change. That one was my fault. I'm actually getting married this weekend and we had to leave. It's a destination wedding, had to leave a day early. So this is my last thing and then I'm out of here for a week. But I appreciate being able to move this to today. But as far as the announcement, we're going to get into that. We're going to go through all the details. We also have some product updates that we want to go through in this webinar. So a lot to get to. But first, let's get into the ASE and WrenchWay partnership. Next slide, I'm gonna go through all the bullet points, but I wanted to give Dave a chance to introduce himself. I think a lot of you probably know who Dave is, but Dave, if you want to kind of say a few words and then we'll dive into the details.
Well, I will take just a minute. Thank you, Jay and Mark, and we're excited about this partnership that we're entering into. I think it's going to be good for everybody, and I think especially for the schools and for the industry partners you all work with. Anyway, so I'm Dave Johnson, President and CEO at ASE, and I won't go into my history too much. I did a previous hour on this with Jay, so he's heard way too much. And if you really want to torture yourself, you can go find that previous episode, I'm sure, and listen to it. But needless to say, been in the industry a long time, spent 30 odd years with Ford Motor Company and the service side and working with everybody on the technical support side and our own instructors, working with schools and recruiting, field service engineers, the whole bit. So it's an honor to be at ASE and as I've come in, one of the things we've been working on is, as I call it, blowing the dust off the brand and looking at opportunities to partner with others in appropriate ways that'll help move things forward for all of us. And so when we saw what WrenchWay was doing with School Assist as part of their platform, some similarities with what we do with Adopt a School, but WrenchWay had this really cool online platform for doing some of the same things. We thought we need to get together. I will admit it started out as me saying I hate those guys because they're doing these things that I thought ASE should have been doing. But hey, if you can't beat them, well, join them, right? So that's what we're doing. And Jay and Mark and their team have been fantastic to work with, and just looking forward to the ride. And I think that everybody's going to benefit from it. So thanks for having me today, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We're very excited, not just to have you here, but for the partnership. And you'd mentioned that comment. Jay, maybe quickly share your perspective with that. You tell the story
Yeah,
pretty good of.
I think the first time I met Dave was at NADA last, I believe, January.
Yep.
And the wonderful George Ahrens, who's a really close friend of mine, had said, I would like to introduce you to Dave. And George was already a big fan of Dave and had sold him highly on, sold me highly on Dave. And so as I go up to Dave, I introduce myself and he says, "Oh, Jay from WrenchWay, huh? I have a love-hate relationship with you guys." And my immediate thought was like, "Oh no, what did we do? We screwed something up." But then as Dave talked more through his familiarity with WrenchWay, I think they're developed a mutual respect right off the bat. And I think Dave, I've shared this with Dave and many others, but I have just so much respect for the ASE brand and what it's brought to the industry over the years. And the fact that this strategic partnership has come together really means the world to me as somebody growing up in the industry. And that brand means a lot. And I think it can do a lot for the industry. It can continue to do a lot for the industry. So to have WrenchWay's brand tagged alongside ASE's brand in this partnership is very humbling and just very, very cool. All of the people at ASE are phenomenal people, and we're just lucky to have this partnership.
Well said. Yeah, let's dive into what specifically we're partnering on. So a fair amount of text here. We'll go through each one in detail. And like I said, later in the webinar, we will be going through some product updates on the School Assist side as well. But core to this partnership, we're doing more than just on the school side, but the School Assist partnership is really the part we want to focus on. That I think is what both sides, when we were seeing how we could work together, we gravitated towards that right away. And I think it comes, of course, our missions align. Of course, we want to see more people in the industry. We want to see people not leaving the industry. There was just alignment right away on that. And I think there are a lot of other organizations that believe that too. But this first bullet point, when we look at School Assist, which actually, let me step back. In looking through the audience, I assume everyone knew what School Assist was, but I probably should give like a 2-minute overview. It's meant for schools, meaning high schools and post-secondary, to connect with industry. So independent shops, dealerships, other industry partners, stuff that everybody wants to help out schools. Everybody says they're going to, it just doesn't always get done, and everybody's too busy to make it work. So what we had done previously was created something called School Assist, make it very easy. As Dave said, it's all online, it's free for schools. They go in, they post, the instructors post what they need help with. I want someone to come speak to my class. I would love if anyone has any tool donations, job shadows, internships, anything you can think of, they can post that on there. And then the industry folks can see all of those. They can scroll through them. They can help out where they can. They message back and forth, and it just makes it much easier to connect both sides. Industry can also post, hey, we have 3 extra engines that we were going to scrap. Does anyone want them in the area? And then schools can scroll through that and get them message as well. So it's not a complicated process, but what's complicated is giving everyone onto one platform. That was key to what we want to do with WrenchWay and ASE. As Dave mentioned, some of this was already being done with the Adopt a School program. We were over here doing our thing. Most people are managing relationships through emails and spreadsheets and things like that. We feel strongly that for this to really work, for industry to properly support schools, you have to get everybody going to one place. Sometimes one dealer will help out a school, sometimes a different independent will. There's a lot of communication going on, but there needs to be kind of a hub for that to happen. I mentioned at the start of this, I'm flying out after this for a destination wedding, and I think of it like an airport. If every airline had their own airport, think of how chaotic that would be. You have one central airport where Delta goes, United, all of them, and then they work together, and all of them can have their own luxury areas and terminals and things like that. But you need one central place to make it work. And that's where I think our conversation really took off, Dave, is realizing that, okay, we can do a lot of good here together if we just get everyone showing up to the same place and then let the conversations happen naturally after that. We build out tools, we listen to the audience, see what more is needed. But that concept of one place that everyone gets involved with, I think is so crucial. I'm kind of rambling. I'll let Dave add to that and Jay add to that, but that is such an important part. I don't want to breeze over it. I think that's what makes this whole thing work.
I think that's a great point, Mark. And what we saw when we, just to tell a little bit about the sausage making, we all went and locked ourselves in a room at a hotel in Chicago and started grinding some stuff out. And we very quickly looked at all the things we could do. And there's lots of things we could do together, but School Assist was just a real obvious one. And here's the way I look at it. If I look at it from an ASE standpoint and an Education Foundation standpoint, it takes what we try to do in the Education Foundation, which is connecting schools, students, and employers with boots on the ground, and Adopt a School as a part of that physical manifestation. So all these physical things that we do, it combines that with an online platform that essentially does, we'll say, the same thing or elements of the same thing. So our desire is to drive those two things together to get the benefits of both, where, like Mark said, you have that convenience of this centralized platform that you can go to, like a clearinghouse, which frankly ASE had not done that great a job on, and from its own website standpoint, and we don't need to. We have WrenchWay to do that. But the thing that I think we bring to the table is we have those field reps. We're out there looking for schools to work with to help them with accreditation. By the way, shout out to Ray. I saw him saying that. I'm looking for somebody to work with on their ASE accreditation. Ray, we're going to find you and we will help you. But as I thought about that, all kidding aside, I thought, well, yeah, I hadn't even considered that when we talked about the School Assist platform. We talked about all of the things we could do to assist schools jointly. Now you can throw in there, hey, I need help with accreditation. And that's another great way to say, all right, hey, we got a lead here. We can go work with you. Use our field managers to work with you on those kinds of efforts and initiatives. Not an easy thing, I know. Accreditation can be daunting, and sometimes people say it's incredibly complex. I get it. But the more I've looked at it and I've become more familiar with it, I understand the whys, and it's worth the trip. It really is. So anyway, to me, this just all helps facilitate all of that. And back to that mission that I said we had around connecting schools, students, and employers in a way that develops those new technicians. That's exactly what we have here as we combine forces with School Assist on the WrenchWay platform. So just happy to be there.
Yeah, well said, Jay. Anything you want to add on just the first bullet point on kind of the importance of one place to do this rather than us competing with ASE to be that place, joining forces and kind of doing this together?
Yeah, probably just building off of what Dave just said there. The boots on the ground efforts from ASE is fantastic. And I think they do a really, really nice job at that. And for us, being able to bring that technology component to it, and frankly, being able to bring some visibility to some programs that are striving to get ASE accredited. I think there's a lot of programs, or there are a lot of programs out there that are working toward that and maybe don't feel all that comfortable in that process. So being able to bring some visibility to that, or bring visibility to those schools that might not see ASE accreditation for quite some time, right? Like they're starting off building a program and they're trying to get the assets together to build a nice, strong automotive program, at that high school level. I think so important. So, all in all, the boots on the ground of ASE combined with the technology of WrenchWay for this and making that really central platform where people go is what we needed to do as an industry to kind of move the needle. We just can't have different pockets working in different ways. If we can join hands and really go after this, I think that's where we see the true impact for the industry. And it's not an overnight thing. I don't think anybody claims that it is, but I think it's really cool because we are combining strengths and really going to market in hopes that we can really, really have a huge impact on the industry.
Yeah, definitely. Moving that kind of feeds in perfectly to the second bullet point here. So with this, it doesn't happen overnight. We've been working on this a long time. You guys in the audience are getting the first kind of view of it. Tomorrow, the official press release is going out. ASC accredited schools will be notified here shortly. Of course, you can't or won't force them to join, but it is a free solution that they can join. ASC will be inviting them, finding out more information. We'll be holding sessions to get them to learn how to use the product. We'll provide all the resources needed. This is the first step of kind of getting the word out there. You can see on the slide, there's about 2,000 ASC accredited schools. We currently, prior to this partnership, have 1,100 schools on here. There's some overlap, so it's not just 1,100 plus 2,000, but there'll be a significant addition here where we are well on our way to creating that central platform, getting more schools on here. Like I said, or like Jay said, even for the ones that aren't ASC accredited, that eventually will be, but some might not either. I mean, that's just the truth of it too. We want this to be a place for all schools. Of course, we see the value of getting ASC accredited, and we want to help facilitate that as much as possible. Jay and I are both from very small towns here in Wisconsin. They graduate, my high school graduates like 60 kids a year total in the whole high school, not 60 automotive students, 60 kids total. I don't think they're probably ever going to officially have an automotive program or a diesel program, but there's 3 or 4 kids every year that go to do this for their career. It's a farming community, same as Jay's. And so that was important to us, and ASC never fought us, and they believed in this as well, that this should be inclusive of all schools. We want to help the ones that can and should get to accreditation, but it is not a requirement to join School Assist. So Dave, you want to comment on that piece?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to note, as we're there to help everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're ASC accredited or not, or if you desire not to become ASC accredited. Mark gave a great example of why in some cases maybe it just doesn't fit, doesn't work. Here's how I think of it. ASC, part of our charters, I think of it, is to develop excellence. Whatever we can do to help develop excellence in the service industry, we want to be there. And so there's a lot of good programs that may not be ASC accredited. Now, we'd like to help you to do that because there's a lot of good things that come with that, and some of you know that. But there's others that it may not be the fit. But I don't want you to be shy about saying, oh, well, I'm not ASC accredited or pursuing it, so nobody's going to work with me. Not true. We want to work with you. We want you on School Assist, using the platform. We're out there to help everybody. And if I was to make it, if you say, well, that's very magnanimous of you, Dave. Well, I could also say, you look at the selfish side of it. I'm all about developing professional technicians who will want to pursue receiving their ASC professional certifications. So why wouldn't I, right? Now, that's not the reason we're doing it. It is because we want to promote the industry, but yeah, there's multiple reasons to do that. So I just see a lot of upside here for everybody.
Jay, anything to add on that point?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think core to our mission as a company, which I think ASE it works alongside of us very well with, is to promote and improve technician careers. And the more that we can stoke the fire for any student that is looking to get into our industry, the better our entire industry is. So I think there's just there's a lot of students that have a desire, to get into our industry, but maybe don't have the program that gets them exposure to what it is that we do. I think there are a lot of things we can do as an industry to, like I said, stoke that fire. But then, being able to really put that value behind that ASE accreditation, in really for that instructor or that program that's out there, and they're striving to improve their program. They want that ASE accreditation. Let's put all the manpower behind them that we can to help them get there, and not make it feel like they're living on an island by themselves. So just kind of echoing what both of you said, I think that's a really, really big part of this.
Yeah, I'll add on the other side, so the industry side, we currently have about 1,000 shops and dealerships on our program. We have, I'll choose my words here because not everything can be announced yet, but we have a very large additional partnership that is signed and in place and kicking off here in the next couple months that will add to that, more than double that by quite a bit. And one of the things that that group liked in bringing in shops or dealers all across the country from an OEM side is that they need help getting into schools. They don't have enough people to make these relationships. And it's not just the big programs. In fact, they recognize, and we recognize, a lot of the smaller ones are the ones that need the most help. They might not have, especially class speakers and job shadows, things like that. So Dave made a comment of, just because you're ASE accredited, don't think industry won't help you. That's not the case. I mean, we want to get you on a path to becoming accredited, but sometimes it's the ones that don't have a lot of the resources. Or going back to the example I gave with Jay and I, both of our schools don't even have an automotive program where we came from. Like that general tech ed teacher or whatever, that's the person we want to make sure that is also touting this as a career choice. So we don't want to miss out on those opportunities, not just to get them ASE accredited down the road, but like Dave said, to ultimately get good technicians into the workforce. With that, on the industry side, so again, stepping back, School Assist is and always will be free for schools to post their requests to get all the help they need. We have our developers' costs, our own salaries, some marketing efforts for this. As much as I would like to give everything away for free, we still got to pay people. And so we do charge shops and dealerships for our program. Up until now, it was one level. We call it Top Shops. They get access to all the School Assist stuff, but they also get access to a premium industry job board, some recruiting tools and best practices. With this announcement, we are also announcing a lower price tier for the people that want to do the School Assist, but do not need or want to do the job board or the recruiting pieces that we have. So this will be promoted by both of us and ASE. We want to get all sides connected as much as we can. That's been added to our website already. So not to make this a WrenchWay sales pitch, but our full Top Shops program that includes everything is $1,800 a year. This lighter version is going to be $750 a year. So it's not nothing by any means, but it's also not breaking the bank, and we can save you a ton of time on making sure we're getting all the schools in your area, you have access to them and their requests. Just the time savings to create those relationships, but then also manage them every new year and new semester easily covers that cost. But that is something that we're excited to be able to offer as well. We got to, like I said, make sure we cover our cost. And some of that will be shared with the ASE Education Foundation as well, because they have costs too, to get those boots on the ground that Jay and Dave were talking about. But Jay, I'll start you this time. Anything? I mean, it's a pricing tier, so I don't know how much more there is to say on this one, but
just say it's a heck of a deal. No, I do think we took a lot of things into consideration when trying to set that pricing tier to make sure it's affordable for anybody that really wants to participate. And our hope is that this does allow shops in general to really continue what we've already built, right? It's grown so much in the last few years, and to see that growth and to see the success stories that come out of it, and our ability to really be able to streamline that process so you don't have to go try to track down a teacher, or you don't have to try and wonder what you can do to help a program. A program is just going to tell you what they need for you to help them with, and you have resources to be able to go help them. So I think that piece of it for me is really important, and emphasizing that, because the reason we priced it at that level was to make sure that everybody could afford to participate.
Dave?
Hey, if I can chime in on that. Actually, I agree. It is a heck of a deal. And here's, I'll back up a little bit. And this is probably more for the shops and dealers out there that are with us today or will view later. You think about the amount of money you spend on recruiting and retaining technicians. It's not insignificant. And we've been saying for years, and in my old life, this was the hard conversation I was having with dealers. I was like, as an OEM, I could do so much, but to get to the I come from the farm too, and my class was the third of the size of Mark and Jay. Mine was 20, well, 18 to be exact. But anyway, I had the saying of getting the water to the end of the row. Literally, that used to be my job because we irrigated everything. But anyway, getting the water to the end of the row, which means bringing these, getting you connected with students. We said that you can't just go buy technicians. You get into the whole poaching discussion, and you can poach them from each other, but in the end, everybody loses. The only way that we have a sustainable solution is you grow your own. And to me, this platform and what we're working to do together really enables that. It helps to facilitate it. Now, it's not going to solve world hunger. It's not going to take away the work that has to be done, because some of that can't be avoided. But for me being the lazy person that I am, I love it when somebody does something to help enable me to do something that otherwise it's work and it's time and attention that I may not feel that I have, even though it should be a top priority. This helps with that. And so I think that it's just one of those things that it will be what you want it to be. But I could see the potential in it, and which was why I got really excited about it. Again, going back to my past history, and felt like this is a good undertaking, and mostly because it's going to bring everyone. It brings everyone together. It makes those connections that, from an ASE standpoint, we talk about it all the time. All the time, we're talking about, hey, local industry folks, you need to be connected with your local schools, and all of that is easier said than done. And so anything we can do to help enable it, and even if it costs a little money, I think it's going to pay off significantly, because that's where you're going to grow your own technicians. And as you do that, that's where all the opportunities will continue to open up. And it's, frankly, if you think about your own shop, and sorry, I'm on a roll now, but I'm going to say this.
Keep it going.
when you think about and I'm looking at ASE certified technicians, right? Based off of our data, but it applies to getting, we'll say, good quality students and bringing them into your organization and developing them. As a shop owner or a general manager or service manager, that the person that makes the money for you is the person that throws away the parts box that they're putting on the vehicle, and that's the technician. And so what we've seen is, on the ASE side, is as you bring through those quality students, and on the certified side, I can say this, we've seen 40% increased productivity on certified versus non-certified, 60% fewer comebacks, 30% lower attrition, better attrition, we'll call it that. And then we look at lifetime earnings, and that's like $750,000 lifetime earnings for those that are certified versus non-certified. The reason I say that or bring that up is not to take away from this, but it all gets to the heart of the same issue. You need good technicians, and when you raise those good technicians and you bring them through as a shop, as a service manager, guess what? That productivity always grabbed my attention. the comebacks grabbed my attention. The attrition grabbed my attention, and guess what? Everybody wins. I win, technician wins, the whole system wins. And so anything we can do to help bring these students through is going to be a real blessing for all of us.
Definitely. Yeah, well said. Kind of along those lines with all of this, I guess, is our bullet point here of this also isn't just an announcement and then we're done, we go our separate ways. We're going to be promoting things together, but we're also going to continue to build out the product together. So as Jay mentioned, we bring some of the more kind of technology side, at least in terms of creating software and things like that. But we welcome, well, we always get user feedback, but we will be regularly meeting with ASE and the foundation and schools to add new features, to always improve it. I'm the product guy that leads it in our company. I always say it's never done. You can think it's perfect, but there's always things that you can make better, features to add, things like that. So that's a big part of this partnership as well, to listen to the audience and see what needs to be built. It might be like the guy that was asking about making it or helping them with accreditation. Some of that can make its way in there, or other things we haven't thought of yet. But and then the last bullet point here, we've already covered, I think, on the field reps at the ground level. That's something prior to this partnership that us at WrenchWay, we didn't really have. I mean, we are an online-based company. We're pretty small. We do work all across the U.S., but ASE can help a ton with that. And again, not just for accredited schools, they can go out and talk to a school that's considering it or needing help. And that's not my area. So I'll shut up on that part, but maybe Dave, I know we covered it, so it's okay if you don't have anything to add, but is there anything you want to add on having the boots on the ground piece of this?
I don't think anything significant other than we're going to be there, and my fantasy is that we get to grow that. Now a lot of that depends on how some of these things grow, right? But we have I'm using round numbers here. I think we have 18 field managers out there, 16 to 18 field managers. That's what they do. They're out there working with the schools. Working with the schools to work with their advisory committees, which guess what? That's the industry part. And sometimes people think of that as, oh, I got to go help the school out to work with their students. I'm doing my good deed. That's great, and you are doing a good deed. But I'm just telling you, if I'm the shop owner, selfishly, I want to be all over that, because that is how I'm going to get in. Frankly, that's how you start getting we'll say the cream of the crop around identifying new talent for yourself. So don't feel bad if you're a little selfish on that, in addition to being the magnanimous people you are, and joining in. But again, this is just going to facilitate it. Those field managers are there to help, and I'm looking forward to I think a lot of good things to come with this for everybody.
I do want to call attention to a comment that Mr. Mike Coley put in the comments, where he put a link to the ASE field manager map that can be very, very valuable to all of you that are listening. So if you get a chance, go check out what Mr. Coley put in the comment section there.
And I would say real quick, Val is helping us moderate this. She'll be sending out the recording link in the next couple of days. Val, if you want to grab that link as well and include that in the email that's going to go out to everybody.
And I just want to thank Mike. He's the president of the Education Foundation. He's on here to keep me in line, to keep me out of trouble, and help me be better and look better. And he's just doing it. So Mike, thank you for that. Appreciate it, brother.
Man, that's a rough job.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's a full-time job.
All right. So I want to remind everyone, keep chatting in, there's a couple questions we're going to get to at the end, but keep posting those. We will get to them. This slide is by far the longest we only have like 5 slides total. I am going to move it along to some other things we're doing, but we'll go through a few other quick things here, and then we'll come back to any questions, but keep the chat going and keep your questions rolling in here as well. So other than the school stuff, some things that we are working with ASE together on. One of them, hopefully, if you're on this, you probably saw it, but for our second year, we did our Voice of Technician survey. The report will come out in December. So we're analyzing the data now. We got a lot more input. Big kudos to ASE for helping us out with that. We co-branded it this year and hopefully every year going forward. We had almost 4.5 times as many respondents, and we were happy with where we were last year. So it's a big number of people that responded. We're diving into the data now. Dave, I know you haven't had a chance to see it. We won't go into it in detail, but some of the things that I thought would be better in a year haven't gotten better. And some of the things that maybe I was worried about have gotten better. And again, we'll have a full webinar in December about that and a report similar to last year's, probably even more extensive. And we got a lot of great feedback last year on that, but look for that here in the next couple months, month and a half, I guess. Another one is our technician pay tool. So I could speak for hours on this. I won't, I'll spare you guys, but I get so frustrated. All the school people we have on this webinar probably can attest to the data that's out there isn't great when kids are comparing a career in automotive or diesel compared to some of the other trades. I don't think we're fairly represented with the numbers that are out there. And so we, rather than keep complaining about it, we tried to do something about it. So last year we created our own tool. Technicians can enter in what they actually get paid. We push hard for it around January time when everyone's getting their W-2s and they know what they made last year. It's a perfect time to ask. So you can enter your information at any time for that, but there's a big push in January that we'll do around that. And ASE is helping us to promote that as well. And then just more things like this. I don't know exactly what they'll be, but events, webinars, we both go to different trade shows. Maybe we'll join forces on some of that. I think I know we're in it. It sounds like ASE's in it for the long term. We share the same mission. We want to do as much of these as we can, grow our online community, get honest feedback for people, get the data in the right people's hands. There's just a lot we can do today. And we're not done with the webinar, but the main focus today was on the school assist piece, but there is a lot of other things we have planned with ASE. Dave, you want to add anything to any of these or anything else I missed?
I don't think I have anything else to add right now. Sky's the limit. And that's, I think at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do is serve the industry. That's why ASE exists, right? It doesn't exist for itself. It was created by the industry for the industry. I'll steal a quote from George Arentz. On the education side, we're all about. I hope I don't screw it up, but it's so good. Being helping to facilitate the local solution or local solutions to a national concern. That national concern being the technician shortage, which is real. It's not going away. Don't see that going away anytime soon. And so all of these things are intended to help with that. So that's what we want to keep getting better. We do and will make mistakes. I can promise you that. Not that WrenchWay will, but ASE will. And but we're listening and we're trying to get better. And I think together we all will. So thank you for that.
Jay, anything to add for the non-school stuff before? After this, I am going to go through some school-specific feature updates we've done. But Jay, anything to add?
One thing that I would like to point out is special shout out to Milwaukee Tool for their sponsorship of the Voice of Technicians survey. And really, they put the carrot out there in a lot of ways to take time out of a technician's day to fill out that survey. It's not the shortest of surveys in the world, but we wanted really good information out of it. So Milwaukee stepped up, did a really, really good job. They've been great partners of both ASE and WrenchWay here. So that was really, really cool to see them put that out there. And just all in all, I think to extend that excitement, what we saw back for that response with the Voice of Technician survey, I was fortunate enough to be able to read through a lot of the initial reports, and I'm very, very excited to have everybody else be able to see that when we do put it out. There's still a long way to go in our industry, right? In really every aspect. And I think that hopefully helps shine a light on that. But all of this is meant to do that, right? It's meant to generate conversations. It's meant to to really help us understand the industry as a whole and hopefully help move it in a better direction. So just all in all, I think that partnership with ASE helps us magnify everything that we were already doing and helps us really get that message of ASE out even further than it already is.
Perfect. All right, so let's go through a couple actual product updates. I won't bore you too long for this. I was gonna actually, like I said, I'm the product guy. I want to fully demo everything and turn this into a 3-hour feedback session, but we don't have that. We got about 18 minutes here left. So I'll use about 10 of those minutes to go through some of this stuff. We already talked about the biggest update we can do, I think, is getting more shops and more schools on it. That whole conversation we had about being the central place that everyone goes to. We're well on our way with this partnership on the school side. Like I kind of hinted, we have some great things with some of the OEMs that are adding many dealers, other things with independents we have coming up as well. So a lot going on there. The lower priced shop option I already talked about, so I'll skip over that. The end of last year's school year, so traditional school year end, we did a survey with our schools of things that they wanted to see improved. Overwhelmingly, people wanted more on the mobile app. So those not familiar, WrenchWay, we have a mobile app that is used for individuals. So it's where we gather a lot of our feedback, answer a couple survey questions. You can win prizes. You can see the things that shops post, that schools post. You can find good places to work, all geared towards individuals, not shops or schools. So we knew we had to add something for the schools and the shops to do a lot of their work on the app instead of just on browser. And there's a little debate in our product team of, do we do a separate app? This is quite a bit different than what we have now. What we ended up settling on is you can just kind of flip your view. So it'll be the same app, so people won't have to download two, and you can just view as an individual or view as if you work for a shop or if you're part of a school. So that will be coming out here in the next week or two. We're wrapping up the final pieces, and then you got to submit them to the 2 main app stores. It's a whole process, but that is coming. We're excited to get that out there. It'll make everyone's lives easier that wants that anyway. Another common thing on the industry side was shops and dealers want to be able to record the things that they do with schools, even if it didn't originate on WrenchWay. So yes, this is growing. Yes, our vision is to have all of these things happen and originate with WrenchWay and be that central platform. But right now, there are a lot of long-standing relationships that are out there already. There are industry helping schools all over the place. As we work with OEMs or dealer groups or just shop owners, they want reporting to know, what did you do in the last 12 months to help out a school for their team, especially when we're talking with OEMs. They want to know what dealers are helping what schools, and some of them have, they call it a scorecard, and that's one piece of it. Others call it different things, but that was a big request we had of getting the data of knowing who's actually helping out in different areas. To do that, we had to recognize and admit, no matter how much we want School Assist to be the only place anyone goes, that's not realistic. So shops and dealers now can basically log any activity that they have. We call them assists. That way, when you pull the reports, you have a complete summary of, in the last 6 months, you did these 12 things or whatever it is. So that's a big one that I'm excited to have out there, especially for our OEM partners. And then there's just this is where I struggled to get it on one bullet point versus a demo. There's a lot of user experience stuff that will be, or that is improved out there. We had a first version of the product. It worked, but sometimes maybe it was 3 clicks and it should have been 1, or it wasn't super intuitive on how to figure out how to do something. The more people we get using it, the more input we get from others. We're able to clean those things up and make improvements, things like adding quick links and dashboards for schools. A lot of these schools, you're not going to log into this every single day. You're teaching classes, you're doing a lot of other things. But a couple times a month or however long you have to come in here, you don't want to have to get retrained on how to use it. It should be very intuitive. We had a good start to that, but it's much better now. So the quick links, the dashboards, there's a lot of other user experience improvements. A common thing we had was we have a hard time getting the instructors to, after they post a request, to mark it as complete. We'll reach out and we'll try to help someone out, and they're like, well, that actually got filled 2 weeks ago. Like someone found us on your platform and did it, and we didn't know about that. So we had to make it easier for instructors to mark those as complete, but then we also have to educate them why that matters. Like we said, with the reporting to the OEMs or even just to the owner of the shop, they want a record of what happened there. So we made that process a lot more clean. But one thing I hadn't thought of before is some of the instructors told us, "Well, I didn't mark it complete. I got a speaker to come in, but I want more." Like they came in and talked about this topic, but I would love to have another person come in next week or next month. And I just thought people would mark it complete. They would type up another one and post it, and that was naive of me to think that. They just keep the same post out there. So now they can come in, market that, Jay's dad shop, Dan's Auto Center came in and spoke on this day, but then they check a box if they want to keep it open or not. So Jay or Dan can get credit for that, but also it stays open. These simple things matter in getting people to use the product. And then lastly, with ASE, even without ASE, we had a lot of what I think are good guides and best practices out there, but we can't even scratch the surface for the experience and knowledge that Dave and his team, and especially the Education Foundation's team, has for know-how. It's the boots on the ground is important, but like George has forgot more about this stuff than Jay and I probably ever will know.
And me.
And a lot of that is, you need George for some of it. He gets his, great way of explaining things, but ASE does have a lot of great guides, documented resources, things like that, that we will incorporate into this and link out and not try to recreate the wheel. Just make it easy. Again, one central place where the instructors can find all of that stuff easily. And then those will continue to be updated. So Jay or Dave, did I miss anything on, well, David, it's probably hard for you on the product side because we're building that out, but just in general, Jay, I'll start with you.
I think it's been fascinating to learn over the last few years, right? As we've built School Assist, I think there's a lot of things that you assume are just automatically going to click or automatically going to take off. And then once you build it and then you identify maybe where those points where you thought something was going to go a certain way and didn't, you really can kind of fine tune and tweak things. And I think our team has done a really, really good job at that. And really even our cadence and how often we were reaching out to instructors. I think at first we were almost overwhelming in terms of how much we would reach out to instructors. And so some of that just comes with time and learning and experience. And as you mentioned, Mark, bringing ASE's experience to the table helps us maybe even understand that at an even greater level. So for me, I think that's the one point I would make is so many of these improvements have come out of experience and trying to learn and improve. And I think being able to have a partner like ASE be able to point some of this stuff out to us, and maybe even some of our blind spots, I think is really, really important and impactful to us. So just all in all, I think we've made great strides. We continue to learn and continue to tweak, but really, really happy with where we're at right now and where we'll go in the future.
Yeah, and Jay, I just wanted to add on to that real quick, thinking about how these things will evolve, right? We have our Adopt a School website on the ASE side, and we're going to have some things to do to blend that together with WrenchWay's side. But in the meantime, if you want to go there, and there's you can just Google ASE Adopt a School, and you'll see some really good material there that I think it was like the instruction book, right? So we've got the platform, we've got people between us and WrenchWay. We have a bit of a recipe book, if you will, that you can utilize on that ASE side that helps bring this together. And again, it'll have to continue to evolve. I'll have some work to do there, but when you put those three things together, I think it's a great combination.
Yeah, agreed, definitely. All right, we have a couple questions and then we'll have some closing remarks. I think we'll have no problem finishing. We got 10 minutes left here. I will read the couple questions we have. So the first one, is WrenchWay able to provide Diesel Tech school list and contacts relative to our branch locations markets? Yes, when you have an account with us and you can reach out and do a demo with anyone on our team. Just go to our site, there's a form, or sales@wrenchway.com will get you there. But the short answer is yes. During the demo or anytime you sign up, you can see what schools in your area are out there. You see a list of the schools, you see all the requests that they have posted, the ones that are currently open. And then lastly, our team, we're not going to nag you or anything, but we will remind you that, hey, if we don't have certain schools in your area, let us know who you want to see on there. If you know the instructor's name, great. If not, don't worry, we'll find it. We have a whole team, and now ASE can help with this too. It is free for schools. I can't force them to be on there, but when our schools team goes out and reaches out to schools, explains what it is, especially if they can say, hey, this great shop down the road or this great place 20 miles away wanted to see you on there. It's a very high hit rate of people that sign up. So yes, you will be able to see all the school information that's out there. At first, when I read your question, I thought it was, do we give access to like all the student names or technician names? That is something we don't do. But as far as the school information, our thought is, if you work with the school, Jay always says help the program, not one student. And he doesn't mean you don't want to help a student, but there is a lot of annoyance, I'll say, from certain instructor, every instructor, that when people call them up towards the end of the school year and say, hey, I'd love to hire your best 3 students. Jay tells the story all the time of being in a instructor's office and here, listen to this voicemail. And there's like 17 of them all with the same request. It's like, you got to get involved earlier in the process. And if you do get involved, you'll have no problem finding those students' information. But we are not going to be a place that is just come purchase a list of technicians or students from us. I know that wasn't your question, but that question comes up a lot. And so I do want to make that clear that if you're an individual and you sign up for WrenchWay, we will never give your information out. You choose if you want to talk to a shop. And then for shops, like, sorry, I would ask the same thing if I was you, but we take the approach on, we help you promote yourself and get you in the right places, but we're not going to sell lists. Jay, did you want to add anything to that one?
No, I think it's just, you're spot on in the fact that we need to support the programs, right? I think so often we're just focused on that one singular person. And a lot of times we do that because we're desperate, right? Or as shops, we need somebody right now and we're just trying to fill that hole. But when you approach things that way, it just ends up in you chasing your tail year after year after year. And that's not the right way to fix things, right? That's not the right way to fix the industry. It's making sure that these programs are sustainable, making sure that they're successful, making sure that we as an industry do our duty and keep them running great, because that's the solution in the long haul to our major issue. And if we only continue to focus on that one student or that one technician at a time, we're just going to kind of keep burying ourselves here. So I think that's my major point there, is just, focus on the industry, on the program as a whole. And I think we're going to have better results as we move forward.
Hey, if I can chime in real quick, folks, I just want you to recognize what Jay and Mark just said was, for me, a good part of the reason why we felt very comfortable partnering with WrenchWay. They could go out there with, the traditional job board as a recruiting tool, as a list selling company, and that's not what they're doing. And that's not what ASE is about. The long haul. How are we building the whole industry? This is what's great about what these guys are doing. They're trying to do it the right way. So yeah, you aren't going to get I'll say the cheap, easy, here's a list of people that may or may not work out, or the recruiting board that, sounds good, Lots of names on there, but you don't know what the quality is. What they're trying to do is get to the heart of the matter, which is the best way for you to get the right technicians for you is get involved at that ground level. They want to support it, enable it, and in my view, do it the right way. Doesn't always mean that's the easiest way, but usually the easiest and the shortcut ways aren't the best ways. So anyway, just wanted to point that out as one example of why ASE felt really comfortable partnering together with WrenchWay, just because of this approach you just saw.
I appreciate that comment, Dave. Yeah, that means a lot to us. We definitely could make our lives easier, at least in the short term from a revenue standpoint, if we did that, but that is not a recipe for long-term growth, and we would alienate our audience. And even if you do upgrade, so we've talked a lot about our school version here, but if a shop does want to upgrade to what we call top shops and to have an actual job board, even that is much different than just copy and paste the same post you have on Indeed or wherever. Like it's a little more work, and you can check out a demo for that. But the short version is we do make the shops add photos of their shop and answer. It's like 44 total questions. It might take 45 minutes total to do, but show individuals, not just students, even experienced technicians, what it is like working there. And don't just say we're family oriented and all the same bullet points everyone else has. Show it and take a little time to prove it, really. That's been our approach since day one. And the day we move away from that and take the easy route is the day that somebody else is going to be running this with Jay, or Jay probably would leave too. I guess what I'm saying is I won't be around it if we get to that point.
Yeah, we just we prefer to straight up torture ourselves, so we like to go the hard route. But no, it really is. I mean, at the end of the day, we need to get this industry in a better position, better place. And I think taking a look at the macro and really being able to attack it at its core, as Dave said, is where we fix this thing. So it's pretty exciting. All of this news is really cool. And just from my standpoint, just can't wait to see where this leads to.
Yeah, I'll make. Oops, sorry. Can I make one comment? The person who posted the question also just put. I did not mean that to be an attack on your question. He posted a follow up. Yes, to your question, we can help you connect with the local schools for sure. I use that as an opportunity to maybe answer what people ask us every day when I'm in this job. So if they weren't asking it, I wanted to get it out there. But George, who had made the comment, understood. I apologize if I didn't mean it to come across of we're misunderstanding your question. But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, sorry, real quick. I know we're out of time, but I want to be clear too. When I said that WrenchWay doesn't have the same old job board, that's what I meant, not the same old job board. Yeah, there is one there. I know what it does and how it works, and it is unique and it is a little more challenging, but the way that it works is a very different from your traditional recruiter, rah, 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 I'm going to go out there and try to sell you a person or a name and put a body in so I can get paid. It's not how it works. And so again, why we really enjoy, it's a real natural fit for us serving the industry, because that's what it's doing.
Perfect. Val, I think that last question can be closed out too. Same thing. Yes, we provide and show, what schools and what shops are available. And then the schools can share that information with the students, but the students also can see all the things I talked about on our site of the photos of the shops and what they pay, what benefits they offer, videos of technicians there, all of that good stuff. Go out and check it out. We'll have more on that. So to wrap up, hopefully we don't go over, we have 1 minute left, but I just want to reiterate, Dave, thank you for everything you're doing. Yes, it feels like I'm starting 2 marriages this week, a partnership with you guys and then my actual one on Saturday. But for real, like we are so excited and honored to be working with you guys on this. And not just for our selfish WrenchWay reasons. We truly believe in the mission we have. And we think with your help or us helping you, we can do really powerful things. It's a great complement to each other. Jay, I'm sure you have more to add to that. You're always
just well, my last, I guess, shout out would be to the ASE team and our team, right? The ASE team has been fabulous to work with. Jen Holland, Mike Coley, Virginia, George Arentz. I mean, George, this wouldn't have happened without you, right? The introduction doesn't happen. And you truly have meant a lot to our company, and being able to kind of make this all come together was I think kickstarted by you. So the ASE team as a whole, as I've told all of them, I'm very, very big fans of them, and this has been an absolute pleasure kind of putting this together.
Feelings are mutual, guys. Thank you so much.